Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Show to View with Mike G, the show of life, the show of love, the show's Derrumbes, Mezcal, Raicilla, Sotol, all of the amazing spirits in Guadalajara, Mexico. Today's guest is the Indiana Jones of Mezcal. You know, that's one of the things I'd like to dub Mr. Esteban Morales Garibi, of 400 Rabbits, of La Venenosa, of Derrumbes Mezcal, of La Higuera Sotol. There's lots of things that this guy has done. He's been a chef, he's been an inspiration, he's been an adventurer, and he brings us some of the most amazing Mexican spirits that have ever been conceived. And he was recently in Austin, Texas, talking about the new 6 labels of Derrumbes Mezcal, one apiece from different states in Mexico, and the wide gamut of flavors are just incredible. And just visit him at his amazing spot, 400 Rabbits, there in Guadalajara, Mexico. This is the guy. He is honest, he's creative, he is a sage. So, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this great chat with Esteban Morales Garibi, La Venenosa, 400 Rabbits, Derrumbes Mezcal, and so much more.
I think it was very natural. When I finished high school, I went to live in Europe.
Where in Europe?
In London.
You did?
Yep.
So did Sergio.
Yep.
Yeah, similar, right?
Yep. We are exactly same age.
Oh, really?
Like, we born in 81, both of us. Yeah.
He's an Aquarius, though.
We didn't been in the same school, but we've been having mutual friends like all life.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So we know each other for a long, long time.
Yeah. So did you hang out? Were you
more than
flatmates and stuff in London?
No. In London was like 1 year of difference.
Yeah, okay.
And so we spent all the money that we saved working there in traveling.
Yeah.
So in my 19 years old, I was in India, Nepal.
Really?
Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia. And almost all Europe. So that type of experience makes me feel...
Get the itch, right?
And also makes me feel bad that I'm spend all that time in other parts of the world before knowing my own country. So when I get back, I wanted to eat it all.
Yeah. Like
all Mexico and all the parts of every single part of Mexico. But it's a huge country.
Right. So, how many states now? 30?
31.
31, yeah.
But so many interesting places to be.
Right.
So I spent many times traveling around Mexico. And I found in the kitchen, also as a work, a really good place to explore Mexican cuisine and be creative and enjoy being with people. So for the past 15 years, I work in the kitchens and traveling around Mexico, looking for flavors and for experiences in mouth. And that opened many good experiences with mezcal.
It does. It kind of eventually leads to mezcal. You find this thing. So my father, he was a chef for a long time, a restaurateur as well, part of the hospitality industry. When you talk about your folks and that family, was there any kind of roots in food? Nothing at all. So you're the first.
Yeah. And I quit.
You quit?
So my grandmother, my mother, they are great in kitchen. Yeah. Like they love to cook and they put so much effort on that every day. But no one is dedicated into the commercial part of the food. And I think I choose to work with food because somehow it gives me the chance to be creative and sell and don't feel bad about it, to charge for the food the people eat.
Right.
Like, because sometimes in the arts, in the creative, it's a complex thing to make a business from
Painting
art.
a picture. Yeah.
You know? But in the kitchen, is like easy going. You can be creative. You can just choose this as an art of express yourself, and you never feel this awkward position of make a business with your creativity.
I like that. So it's a comfortable outlet to be expressive, but also say, well, obviously we've got to charge something for this.
Yeah.
But like painting a painting is a little different, isn't it? Right? It's
Exactly.
like, well, I don't know what's market rate on this painting, right? Well, so when you set out to London, you found food, you found flavor, but was there another path that you were seeking out? Were you trying to be a businessman? Were you trying to
No. That's also brings another interesting part. Like, I wanted to study law.
Law, really?
Be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Come on,
As you roll your eyes.
So my mom comes to me one day and say, "Hey, I know some of your friends going for a sabbatic and working in London.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to do that?"
It's a question and a statement at the same time.
She pushed me to like have an experience of life without just jumping to the college and do the university and without any reference. It was very that they're clever. They know you. And of course that changed everything.
Going out there and experiencing the world and traveling.
And I just see that you don't need to be a lawyer, a doctor, or something that the society expects from you.
Yeah.
So you became more free.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it was a really good experience. But I was not there looking for business or nothing. It was very naive way of trying to look the world, travel.
But it's interesting too. So some people, I think this happens in Texas actually quite a lot. People grow up in a neighborhood, they grow up in a city, and they've been there for a long time. They feel comfortable with it, and they don't then feel inclined to go explore the rest of the world. So that kind of inquisitive nature to explore, to learn, to be uncomfortable, does that come from the family, or was something for you that's like purely creative and just a way that you wanted to approach the world?
No, I think we are 5 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So each of us is completely different to the next. Different timing, different moments of life. So
you wanted to take it all on and visit and see and taste.
If I didn't know that I wanted that, but once I been there, like so close, like London at that moment, 2001, was really healthy economy. The Mexicans doesn't exist there as a illegal population or something. We don't have statistics as
interesting.
Yeah. So you don't have this this stigma.
Yes.
As you
might have in the States, right?
Exactly. Oh, yeah, in the States more than others. So also we don't need visa. So you just buy your ticket and you entry. It's
How long can you stay if you do that?
6 months.
That's great.
Yeah. So it was easy, super easy for us to just save the money, take the flight, go there looking for a flat to share with other folks and find a job.
Yeah.
Obviously, my English was horrible, a little worse than today. But
I hear you loud and clear. This is great. I get to understand every word.
That's good. I'm trying. Maybe the verbs and some timings are not good, but okay. Yeah. I'm a Mexican. Don't push too much. And learning the streets. So I never been in the school learning English. So I'm trying to do my best. I work in the kitchens, and I fall in love with the vibe of aggressivity, heat, rush.
Yeah.
Like
the pace of life when you're in the kitchen.
I fucking fall in love with the kitchen. Big time. Cleaning plates. Yeah. Even I'm enjoy to wash plates even today. Like I really enjoy it. So for that reason, I come back to Mexico and look forward to open my own places or my own kitchen to learn and explore. And my exercise of learning flavors was very interesting. I learned to draw from the very early, like painting and all the arts. Like, so I started eating the raw materials for the kitchen to make my brain understand flavors, so I can play with the flavors as I play with the colors.
Oh, that's
like
beautiful.
Colorimetry, like if you use yellow and red and then you get orange, and depends of the amount of each of one, you have a different types of orange. So the same happened for me in the kitchen. So if you use a little more of this, or if you use a little more of that, you get a new flavor or texture or things like that, you know?
That is, I think, one of the best ways to do flavor. I hear notes. I think of music all the time.
Yep.
You see colors. Was there a painter or an artist that particularly influenced you when you think about how you want to express color?
Magritte.
Ah, yes. Cheeky fucker, isn't he?
And obviously, surrealism take me.
Yeah.
Just the idea of the contextualize the things just get me.
And you become buried in the paintings. You're immersed in it. You know what I mean? Some of those works are so big that you just kind of find yourself falling and slipping into the colors themselves.
But also the forms and the freedom of the artists, that they can just play wherever they want in any material they choose. I really enjoy today some of the ready-made objects that they contextualize. It's like kind of the surrealism in the beginning, like with a little contemporary way. But
I love it because you use that as kind of a foundation for how you build flavor.
Exactly.
So coming into Mexico, was it an easy expansion for you to start your own restaurant, to start your own kitchen?
I'm lose that question. Can you make?
How long did it take you when you came back to Mexico to finally get into food?
I'm arriving late 2002 and take like 6 months of photography.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah.
And I entered into University of Industrial Design in January of 2003.
Yeah.
And I opened a little coffee shop outside the university like 3 months after.
Really?
Yeah.
Coffee shop? How big? Super
car.
Small? Car.
It was a car. It was shameful that in my campus, it was architecture, graphic design, industrial design, cinema, photography, all these careers that encourage you to see the world because you have to build your reference.
Right.
And it was just like café de olla, no? And I wanted to have a beautiful espresso and a perfect latte. After being traveling, it was impossible to me to understand why in this campus that is very important in terms of art and global vision, we didn't have a good food.
That's a great point, because it's just an art form like the rest of those things.
Exactly. So I buy my first Faema in 2003 and open a little car with espressos and coffee. So I work all the day in the morning making coffees and then jump into university in the afternoon. And then a little place they get to rent.
Uh-huh.
So I jump to a bigger place with kitchen. So I do
still coffee?
Still coffee, but
adding
also
some food and stuff.
Breakfast and lunch.
Really?
Yeah, outside the campus.
Yeah.
So I'm start playing with my own way to cook. So very fast, all the teachers were my clients. Like,
no way.
More than the students. because they can afford a really good piece of meat and a salmon. And I didn't care about the students. I wanted to just play in my kitchen. So I learn in my own way. I'm a very bad student.
Did you finish?
So I quit.
You quit. Well, sometimes that's what it's about. You find the real thing that actually makes sense.
But all the teachers that give me the good notes without doing nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Because I was feeding them. So I spent 5 years and I just make the half part.
Yeah.
So I opened another bigger restaurant, like 200 seats in 2006.
So small coffee shop in a car, expanded spot with coffee in a kitchen, and 200-seater in 2006. So number 3. This is, do you feel like you're moving too fast, or does it just feel like a natural progression to do more and to think more?
Both. But you never know you are moving fast until you fucked. But in every time that you fucked it up, you learn more than ever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's incredible. How was this spot? So when I think of the cuisine styles in this largest restaurant to date for you.
it was a fun, not the line.
Yeah?
Some Italian, some Mexican, some Thailand, some Vietnamese. It was fun.
Yeah.
And full of color and pop and objects and like a lot of textures. And it was a place that I don't know, shoot you once you go in, like lights, color, textures, aromas.
It was your own gallery.
And a cousin that is also a crazy guy. And industrial designer too. And amazing cocktail menu. Like many friends that also live in London, they work in cocktail places, like with the big names there. So we invited them to make the cocktail there.
Which in 2006
was
still not a thing yet.
It was the first.
The first thing, and this is in Guadalajara?
In Guadalajara.
Yeah.
It was a theater, you know, 3 stations, 3 bartenders, like 2 bar backs, shaking, like fresh fruit.
Yeah.
More like a tiki approach without the tiki glasses and the garnish, but very fruity. Because it was the moment, at that moment, like London was getting out of the tiki, but we just came from there. And in Mexico, you have an amazing fruit, so we wanted to use all these amazing fruits.
One thing I'm curious about. It takes money to do this stuff.
Yep.
How do people just say, yes, you're the guy, I'm going to give you money? How did you get funding for these things?
I think when the people show you focus, they don't have a fear to invest on you.
I see. You got a vision. You've got a passion.
I'm focused. Like, fucking work you asked.
Yeah, yeah. What was that place called?
Gulala.
And how long did that last? Or is it still open?
6 years.
6 years.
5.5.
Good gig? You enjoyed it?
We make a lot of money, but also we are very young and we drink it all.
Yeah, same old story, it seems like, as I enter my 40s.
Imagine, I was 26 years old.
Gosh. 11 years ago. Something like that, right?
Yep.
What lesson did you learn? Did it close because it's not a failure, right?
We broke the relationship, my partner and I, and with that we just broke the vibe.
Yeah.
You know, it was hard to understand, but it takes me like a couple of years to understand it.
What were you doing in that period where you're trying to figure
Another
things
restaurant.
out? Another restaurant.
I keep myself busy. I cannot stop and thinking.
Yeah.
I'm stop and thinking, but I cannot stop working.
Yeah. Keeping busy.
I like to keep my mind busy.
Yeah.
My mind is a crazy thing. So if I don't keep busy, I can get mad.
I feel that way too.
It's like
Can you sit at home and just watch TV?
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes in a empty box.
Yes.
But it has to be late.
Yeah.
But I prefer to don't. And I just choose other activities to keep my mind like focus and not thinking in a whatever,
right.
you know.
Do you get time now? I mean, and we'll talk about these projects even more, but do you get time to decompress, to relax?
Yeah, definitely.
You do?
Definitely. I think for a long time, restaurant was my lifestyle and cooking and manage the restaurants. But my wife hated.
Didn't like the lifestyle?
She doesn't like the service. She doesn't like the business of restaurants. So every time I having a crisis in the restaurant, it was double crisis. It became a crisis in my home. Oh. So she pulled me out somehow to get out of that business. But at the same time of the restaurants, I was building Raicilla, 2010.
So this is happening all kind of...
I jumped, in the timeline.
No, it's...
But in 2008, working in Gulala in this restaurant, I visited one of the famous wineries in Mexico for their party of every year. And the enologist received all the guests with a mezcal. So that question, I make the question like, why this guy that is the rock star today in the enologist, they receive us with a mezcal. Something is happening, no? So I come back to Guadalajara and I start just researching and asking about what's happening with mezcal. And result that this guy was a partner of a project, so I'm asking him to give me the distribution of that project in Guadalajara, and they do.
Is it a brand that's still around now?
Yeah, Alipus.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah.
What? All right. Well, you've had your hands in just about everything, it seems like.
So I learned about the terroir and the different villages that the Alipus work with and the master distillers of Oaxaca. I fall in love with them, but also I wanted to taste more. So I had a mezcal from Michoacan, a mezcal from without certification. This was just with my folks, my dudes that own restaurants in Guadalajara. So we get together and we just sip mezcals and trying to convince them to put it in their menus, in their back bars. And also Guerrero and a Sotol. And so...
Did you have any kind of relationship? So, for instance, lots of folks I've talked to in the tequila industry, they grew up and they had tequila around the house. But mezcal, was that something you were even familiar with as a kid?
No.
Not at all, right?
Not at all. Well, my father is from Atotonilco, and his family, my grandfather's house was close to where all Don Julio distillery was. So we used to walk in to grab a piece of cooked agave and eat it, but not more than that.
Right.
You know, it was like not deep into the family. So it was a passion that I achieved working in the kitchen, like the booze, the way they made, the way they taste.
It's like being a chef.
Yep.
Combining flavors is a process.
Definitely.
Being a business savvy guy, did you see the financial opportunity, not for you, but for the category as well, to say, this is something I should bring that more people should be able to get access to?
Yes, exactly that you describe it, but never as a business.
I see. Just as a social, as an art form.
Yep. I think in the money last.
Yeah, good. Me too. That's why I'm
poor.
I'm very poor.
All the questions are how we want to make this.
Yeah.
And try to make the way to make it happen. But I never thinking how much money I will do doing this.
Right.
So the motivation is never the green paper. So that's very important in my life is the consequences can be a good business, but not the final destination.
Right. I mean, you're an artist. Artists don't make money, but they think about how to create.
And to be honest, also I like good things in life, so I work hard to also get access to that things.
Right.
And also when you cook and you are a waiter or when you work in the service and food and restaurants, you drink good wine, you eat good food, so
sure.
You cannot change that. It's like something that once you try it, it's impossible to quit to the
you get
to that.
That's the good life, right? You get some set of standards now.
So expending time and money in good food or good booze or good wine, I never feel like bad in my wallet.
Yeah.
So
Always worth it.
Yeah, it's always worth it.
I agree.
Yeah, and
so then mezcal. So you bring Alipus to Guadalajara.
I bring Alipus in 2008 to Guadalajara, and many others. So that gave me a chance to visit places, make friendships in different states, and also give me the chance to see the opportunity of Raicilla. No, Raicilla was always there in our minds because being from Jalisco, when you start going out for camping with your friends in the mountains, you more than once buy a plastic bottle of Raicilla because it was cheap and available, and you get waste. So Raicilla was there.
Yeah. Is it kind of like it's part of the community?
It's part of not everybody, but if you have the chance to go out to the mountains and spend a weekend in a camping or in the forest, so you close to that villages where that's happened, and then more than once you drink it.
Yeah.
And there is, but you don't know what to do with that, until you build a little business of distribution of mezcal, and then you have a restaurant, and one day you thought, what happened if I bring Raicilla as a house mezcal? Because we know it's mezcal.
Yeah.
So I'm start just taking the car, inviting some friends, and do scouting, like arriving to the town, knocking doors, and asking people in the street, who sells Raicilla, who produces Raicilla. And in the beginning, the people get scary, like, who are you? Why are you asking?
Apprehensive.
Like,
yeah.
Sometimes the wives of the producers, because they're in home, open just a little window and say, do you want Raicilla? Yes, somebody told me that you sell Raicilla here, and then just give me a little shot from the window, like, okay, try, this is the Raicilla we made. But we didn't have a reference, like how you know if it's good or if it's bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
what was it that they were wary of you, or that it was an underground cool thing that they didn't?
For a long time, nobody outside the towns asking for Raicilla.
So it's suspicious automatically.
It was suspicious, like a guy that obviously outsider just came to the town and say, who makes Raicilla?
How did you win them over in a way? Were you just persistent? They're like, okay, this guy keeps showing up.
No, I found Ruben, the first guy that I made, the first guy that I worked with in the project of La Venenosa, and he is very short talk person, serious as shit.
Serious.
But he's very open. So he's a hard dude. So he opened the door and said, welcome, try it. Like welcome in his house without any feelings of...
Because he wasn't hospitable, right? He was just kind of like, bring, all right.
Yeah, hospitable hips, and a very confident and a...
Matter of fact.
Try this and try that. So before decide who has the best Raicilla, we having a human approach. And I decided to work with him because his human qualities
Yeah.
And I don't care about the quality of the raicilla that he makes.
Because you like him.
I like him. And because he opened the doors too. It was like a really nice moment. And I was really good luck.
Because it was good raicilla.
It was good raicilla, but also in that moment, he was open different containers. And in one of these raicillas, he put it in a glass and give me to me, look into my eyes and say, you know what is this? And I was very skeptic. So like I make a sip and I was guessing, this is from agave. And he said, right, you're right. You have a good palate. So I was like, fuck. Really? Because they say they call agave for the blue weber.
Right.
And the Maximiliana is lechuguilla for them.
Yeah.
So for me, coming from the city, I was trying to find the variety of agave that was.
Yeah.
But with not clue at all. So the circumstances saved me, and he started respect me, the palate that I have. So say, oh, you know.
Sometimes it just takes like dropping a varietal name, doesn't it? Say, oh, this is very tannic, and then
how you recognize it was an agave? Like, fuck. What should I answer? So I'm just playing around.
But you were meant to be there,
Yeah. Kind of, yes, definitely. I don't believe in the coincidences.
Yeah.
It's more like you take decisions.
Yeah.
And you have consequences.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So now, La Venenosa has been in America for 4 years. I think Eric said almost to the day 4 years, actually.
Yep.
I think he said it was September 23rd or so.
Yep.
4 years.
4 years.
Are you surprised with how people have embraced it? This idea of you knocking door to door and somehow soliciting raicilla, and now it is La Venenosa is the premier raicilla.
It is the premier
in America.
And I'm not surprised because, again, we've worked hard.
Yeah.
So you expect a good results because we are not waiting for the things to happen.
Yeah.
So we go through the things to make it happen.
Right.
Like we work for that. Even if we have a very short budget and we start from nothing, and I steal the profits of my restaurants to invest it in the Raicilla project for almost 4 years, and the wife getting crazy, like, again, a crazy idea of you.
So this is when it gets funny then.
Like, now it's like you spending all the money in this project, like nobody knows Raicilla, come on. Like, I know.
Well, not only do you have one, like if I can just try to imagine what your wife's thinking, one lame brain idea. How dare, this idea. So that's one. But then
I exchange the idea, like, okay,
she's more open to it now.
I will sell restaurants. I will concentrate in this. I will spend the money that I save in the sales of my partnerships, and just put it effort on this, And that moment also family was growing, a baby coming. So, the restaurant business is hard. Yeah. It's like 24 hours.
And we're not getting any younger.
No.
So why? Things are going good. You've got some restaurant.
I don't have any restaurant.
Not now, right?
No.
Yeah.
But I have 1 year without. Totally out. We just have a tasting room, 400 rabbits, that has been around from 2010 until now. Different venues, but now it's just receiving reservations.
I see.
So it's very easy to handle it because if I'm around or I have ability, I'm just say yes. If I'm not around or I'm not available to do it, I'm just say no, and I don't have the stress to keep it open every day.
Yeah. So it's on your own schedule. You get to make your own schedule, which is great.
Exactly.
But then it does beg the question, okay, great. Well, you've got Raicilla covered. You're the guy, the premier brand.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a thumbprint to leave in the mezcal world as well now. As we experienced last night, which is the Texas launch of Derrumbes.
Yeah.
6 states of mezcal. I understand that you need to keep doing things, but was mezcal just the next logical expansion of it?
Let me do the timeline of the project.
Yeah.
So, 2009, I'm start buying Raicilla for my places without the brand. 2010, we start thinking in making the brand and make it more like serious, bigger.
Right.
Because also we realized that buying 20 liters from the producer and selling it in your place is not enough to keep the expenses of their families running.
Exactly, right.
So even if they sell another 100 liters in their community, there is not enough money to just do that.
Right.
So you have to scale into the reality of their expenses to see how many liters you have to sell and at what price to make them pay the bills and also to make you pay your bills.
Right.
You know?
So you got to go bigger.
You have to go bigger because they can go bigger and they want to go bigger.
Yeah.
And they want to live proper doing the things that they love.
Of course. Who doesn't?
As we also.
Yeah.
As we love to do. And I lost the point. Where are we going? The timeline and why the Derrumbes and when. So I get the registration of the brand La Venenosa in 2011 from the Mexican government. So it's legally a brand from 2011. And working in 400 Rabbits in the first venue, open for public. In the latest months of 2011 and all the beginning of 2012, Sergio Mendoza called me and said, I have a guy who wants to invest in a brand of mezcal.
Yeah.
But I'm being like more in the tequila, and
he's a busy guy.
I thought on you, like, do you want to make the brand with us?
Yeah.
And I say, I don't know. I've been in the mezcal for 4 years now. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of friends, producers. More than once crossed my mind to do my own brand of mezcal.
Right.
But I took the more complicated way that it was making the Raicilla brand. You know?
Well, that's the best thing. You get all the difficult stuff out of the way.
So, yes, it's my nature, truly. I love the challenges. But I didn't have the money to make my own brand of mezcal at that moment, you know, because I was building Raicilla.
Right.
Needed a lot of love and needed a lot of, not a lot, but all the cash I could put it on there. And because we buy it, all the liquid, every single drop, and we give it for free a lot, you know, just sampling. So it was a really good chance to do that idea in my mind that has been running to make a brand of mezcal, but without risking my own money.
Yeah, sure.
And with a really good partnership, that it was Sergio with all his distribution net from Don Fulano.
Yeah.
And a guy that I never meet at that moment that wants to invest the money to do it. So Sergio makes an appointment for the investor and myself to meet. He wasn't there. And fun.
You liked it? He's a good dude?
Cousin of my wife.
Oh, no. Did you know that?
No.
Oh, what?
It's like we saw each other. Like we spent like 10 minutes and he say, I know you. I say, I know you too. Like, I think I was in your wedding. Yes, I know you now.
Oh,
like,
man.
Yeah.
Did that make it easier?
A lot easier. Yeah.
I bet.
It's like
it's family, right?
it's family. So it was also like, okay, I'm not gonna put my money in someone that I don't know.
Right.
It make it easy for both sides.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now
It's meant to be.
Was faithful.
Again.
You said coincidence, right? Like, but with the consequences and all that. But
Yep.
it is. That's how these things all line
Exactly.
up. So how many years ago was that now?
2012.
2012.
Yeah, in the beginning. So at the middle, in the middle of 2012, we started launching the Oaxaca expression.
Okay. Which is 70% Espadín, 30% Tobalá.
In the beginning was 100% Espadín.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yep. But that expression now is just an ensemble.
I see. Which is beautiful to taste.
It is beautiful.
It's prototypical, beautiful Oaxaca mezcal.
Yeah.
You know.
We start with one, obviously, and we try it, doing the marketing things and sending. We start with Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then Europe and Asia.
Yeah.
We're in Singapore, Hong Kong.
Amazing.
And I think the latest was the States.
We're the last. It's so strange, isn't it?
It's strange. And we feel in some point that the market in the States was burning too many brands.
Saturated, yeah. Yeah,
Pop,
yeah.
pop, 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 pop. And we were like a little skeptical of how and when to try to go through the States.
And the
And
fact
also-
that you guys do it 6 states, that's what is particularly interesting for me.
Yep.
Because obviously most of the stuff, and you were talking about it yesterday, the most biodiversity comes out of Oaxaca, so thusly most of the mezcals come there. But you know, some of these pictures you showed from San Luis Potosi, for instance, using an agave press. I mean, I told people today, I told no less than 5 people, like, dude, check this shit out. They're using a press to get the juice of the agave. I mean, you now have this very textured, very, very vivid, artistic kind of vision that you can say. It's like, I've got 6 places, 6 different personalities, 6 different styles, 6 different terroirs. That is a compelling, if nothing else, a compelling marketing story, right?
No, and the logistics
Oh, I can't even imagine.
and the personal relationship with each of the producers.
Because they're all different. Like
They're all
folks,
different and different
personalities.
realities and different needs. And, something, different personalities, bro. Is everything I can say. So it has been a beautiful social challenge.
Yeah.
And
Where do you guys bottle? I was thinking about that last night.
we bottle everything in Guadalajara
Okay.
because when we get the certification to be bottled, it wasn't permitted by the NOM
I see.
to be outside the appellation of origin and bottle certificate mezcal.
I got you. Okay.
So we need to buy the certificate mezcal and then make move it from one place to another.
Right.
And then one guys of the CRM came our facilities to open the tanks and do all
Dang.
the shit. Yeah.
That's crazy how
But it
locked down
was-
it is.
It was the easiest because in the beginning was send bottles to Oaxaca, send stoppers, send labels, send
Right,
boxes, and then pick the product back to Guadalajara because it was selling together with Don Fulano Tequila
Yeah.
or with La Venenosa in a same pallet or same container to any of our customers. So it was going and back.
This is much easier.
Send everything to San Luis, send everything to Michoacan. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So it was easier for us to bring the things together and make it in a single place.
Yeah.
The
It makes
bottle.
logistically, financially, all of that makes
Yep.
a lot of sense. Well, so then, one might ask, he's done things with Raicilla, he's done things with mezcal. That seems like enough. That's good. That's a good amount of effort. Your wife's probably like, oh, this is great. But no. Number 3, you have a Sotol
It's a.
as well, right? Is this your
I
project
think it's
too?
yes, and it's my project. But I think at the end of the day, all this is a little share of my passion of Mexico,
Right.
of the respect and the admiration that I have
It's a love letter.
Yeah, for the people that live doing this.
And I think that that's the best reason to do it. In a way, chronicle their love, chronicle the passion, help share that.
And every single part of Mexico has a different point of view, reality, geographically, weather. So it's not. If there is not an experience inside the bottle, if I don't find an experience in that liquid, there is no reason to be bottled.
Right.
So all these line, like maybe 7 in the collection of Raicillas, all a Venenosa because Tucci is not Raicilla, and the 6 mezcals and the 3 Sotols, I think all are completely different to each other. And every single one has something to talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's not effective as a business perspective because every time I need to spend the profits in a new project. So I've been working with a lot of passion for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
But again, the problem is, as I don't think in money as the result of all this effort, right. I'm always using the money to bring new things into the market. But
it's Liguera?
Liguera Sotol.
So 3 Sotol, same producer, but 3 different varietals, yes. Right? I think that's an incredible thing, and I know that it hasn't maybe officially launched in Texas yet, but it's here. It's here. We've had it, which is kind of an incredible thing.
I saw it in
Austin Wine Merchant today.
Yeah. And in other stores that we've been and some barbacks too.
Yeah, you got no less than 5 bottles behind many of these bars.
And it was fun. The truth behind the Liguera is I opened an Italian market in 2014 Direct 15.
Sure.
Compagnia del Caribe is the name of the company. They asked me for Raicilla, and then they asked me for Sotol.
They asked you for, okay.
Hey, do you know any Sotol that you can help us to put in contact?
Mm-hmm.
And I have a really good relationship with Jacob Jaques.
Yes, great guy.
Of Don Cuco. And I call him and say, hey, Jacob, somebody wants the Sotol in Chihuahua. You want to sell it? And he explained some issues about the brand and family things. I'm not going to go deep in there because it's not my family. So to don't make it longer, say, I can make the liquid for you, but I don't want to sell Don Cuco.
I see.
I don't know if it's cool to say it.
No, we talk, and I make sure I interview him and talk to him about this too, because I want to get his perspective.
I don't know. And so I have it. I have the brand Liguera in already registered for something.
For something.
So I don't want it to lose the chance to sell, because when somebody wants to buy, you have to sell.
Yeah.
Is what the law says,
right,
you know?
Right.
So, and he offered me to make the liquid, and I just start moving fast with the designer and friends, like doing the image.
Yeah. And
we resolve that part. We send pictures, we send samples. They say yes, and we start selling to Italy. Sotol, Liguera, 2015.
Wow.
Because of this.
Right.
Like that.
They just asked for it.
Yeah, they asked for it. And so we keep the relation for another 2 years, 3 years, and then he signed some contracts with 800, with Por Siempre. Right. So I decided to move out of that distillery,
right?
Because it was complex, and we keep in a super good terms. He's my bro. Yeah. I consider him very good friend, and I was talking with Gerardo to the chances that he has to keep going the project of Liguera.
Yeah.
And one day I was researching, reading about Sotol and how many varieties they have, and I read they have 16 varieties. So I called Gerardo and said, hey, do you ever isolate the varieties and to make the batches for each one to see how they taste? And he said right away, yes, I have some batches of different Sotols.
Oh, that's great.
But he never used it like that.
Yeah.
But they have it. So I said, can you send me samples? And send me samples of 3, like Leophyllum, Cedrosanum, Wellery. And it was completely different, one to each other. But obviously, with the very limited reference that we have in Sotol, every time you open a bottle and serve you a sip, you can realize it's Sotol.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't go further.
No, I had all 3 the other night.
No,
you're right.
But now also Ricardo Pico bring a very interesting collection with the terroir things. But also at that moment, he was in the develop of the project without launching it. And it was just different timing. So I work in the graphic design for all these 3 varieties of Sotol. And I send it to Arik and say, okay, this is the next step for Liguera. Do you interested? And he say, yes, I'm interested. I'm ready to bring a Sotol. Yeah. And I love the image and I love the concept. Can you send me samples and try the liquid? And he fall in love with the 3 ones. And so
that's amazing.
That the brand has been growing. So the image from Sotol Liguera in Europe is different. But next year will be the same, like all the markets.
How do you feel? There's Texas Sotol now. I know I'm guilty of that a little bit, right?
Which
is good. But I've heard lots of opinions on it. But how do you feel about Texas making a Sotol that is typically
Let's
Mexican?
talk of categories.
Sure.
You can make whiskey everywhere.
Right.
You can make gin everywhere. Yeah. You can make vodka everywhere. And why you cannot make agave spirits or Sotol everywhere? You know?
I have no problem with it.
I don't have a problem. I think if South Africa brings their agave spirits into the market, if India brings that agave spirit, if the guys in the Mediterranean Sea bring their agave spirits into the market, they will push us to be better. They will push us to be more clear in our market. They will push us to compete and to keep safe the things that we've been building.
Yeah. So you think it's a good thing for competition?
It is amazing. It's not just good, it's amazing.
Yeah. Keeping us at a higher level of play.
I want to imagine the guys of the Scotch when the Japanese start launching an amazing quality whiskeys. Like, fuck, dude. If we don't do something, let's move our ass.
Yeah.
Like, we need to keep our market, kind of a thing.
I think you're right.
And then single malt start taking again some parts of the market as a premium whiskeys with a little more specific facts in their labels and in the way they smoke and in the way they age and the finish they do.
Yeah.
So the competition is always good.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
For the markets, for the producers.
Right.
So if we sit in ourselves, like in the confidence and in the laziness of, we can do whatever because we own Sotol, because we own mezcal, because we own tequila, soon it gets lazy. And you can get down in the quality that you have.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to steal your comfort place.
It's a sense of entitlement in a way.
So I'm glad.
Good.
I'm glad. I'm super glad to see other companies bringing things in the discussion and in the market. Yeah,
I think that's a good. I'm glad to hear because it's always a very interesting topic. Lots of people have different kinds of feelings on it, so it's good. I agree. Don't shackle people because we can all make it, right?
Some people can argue about using names of describe it. I even don't care.
Yeah.
If they wanted to call mezcal, obviously it's going to be impossible because we have this hard feeling of owning words. But I have a feeling that the future for our industry is going to be agave spirits.
I think so too. Someday maybe we get to work on something together. That'd be pretty.
It's not anymore the name.
Yeah. But it's brilliant, and I'm glad to hear you say that as a creative guy. So you've had a beautiful trip so far. You're off to San Antonio tomorrow. We were out not too late last night, but talking about mezcal, talking about things. So I got 2 questions left for you. And you're off to San Antonio next, so normally that's a question I'll ask you. Where are you off to next? But you're going there tomorrow, so great. First time in 25 years, which is great, right? But the last 2 questions I have for you, you mentioned something last night I think is really important. And you're a visible guy, but you don't necessarily want to be at the forefront of the voice of agave. You want to do the work and work in the fields and work with the people. Is that kind of correct, where it's like you would rather do the work than just talk about it?
I think in the journey of doing this, you learn many things.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, you want to build your name. Yes, I want to be an opinion leader. Yes, yeah. I want to be a voice. Yes, I want to be in the newspapers. Yes, I want to be in the magazines. Right. Yes, it's the natural of human being to be on front.
Right.
And somehow, I just don't care anymore.
You matured?
Maybe, yes.
Yeah.
But I want to do the things that I love. And being in the magazine is not the things that I love. It's just an illusion for a moment.
Sure.
But also, you don't want to sell more if you are opinionated. You don't want to grow your brand to be opinionated. You don't grow your relationship with the producers that you love and the families that you care, and because being opinionated. Yeah. You have to opinionate when you have the chance to sit, like today, and somebody asks you a question. So we share information, but not to try to keep the lights on your face.
I see. It's a community here. And I think that one of the things I've really been impressed with, and I had a conversation with someone today who's looking to do other kinds of Sotol projects in Texas and stuff, and I said, the thing that most impressed me about being in this industry, and something I'm very thankful for, are people like you, people like Arp, people like Sergio, that are transparent, they're passionate, they're artists, and we just can get along, and we can just enjoy the fruits of this labor, which is the spirits, is the food, and the conversation.
I think we, as an industry and consumers, we forgot that we call these spirits because they touch the spirit, and also they extract the spirit of the materials and the fruits and the grains and the plants that they use for this.
Yeah.
So it's a legal drug.
Sure.
But you get intoxicated, and these drugs touch you and takes you to different places. So I also invited the people to be more conscious about the intoxication with alcohol and go through the intoxication as a conversation with the spirit that they're drinking.
That's a good point too.
I like it. I just wanted to share that.
I think that's very important. And the thing is, it's hard for me because there's so much to talk to you about. There's bound to be a book that you need to write about your life and your projects. But this last question I've got for you is maybe a little easier, right? I want to pick the Derrumbes from San Luis Potosi. I think it's an exceptional spirit, and it's one that really sticks out in my mind when I first had it when I was in Europe. So let's say you're sipping that at 400 rabbits, and you can have a conversation with anybody, living or deceased. Who might you like to sit at that bar and just have a conversation with?
With the San Luis Potosi?
Yeah. Because that frames the character a little bit differently, I think.
So many people come to my mind. I enjoy to talk with people. But I don't know if I would love to spend that moment sharing this mezcal and talking about everything with Thomas, or Yeah. He's a great. I think Thomas is a person who knows how to listen. He's a person to know how to talk.
Yeah.
And so he enthusiast
Yeah.
about spirits
And life.
is contagious.
Yes.
So he's very happy to share new things because they makes you feel you are in the correct way.
Yeah. One of my favorite people in the world. Had the pleasure of spending good time with him.
Yeah.
And you want to spend
He's
time with him.
he's like Godfather.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. From the business, in the restaurant business,
Right,
before
right.
getting into the booze. Like, he was amazing customer
Yeah.
of Gulala in my places. He bring an amazing people to dinner there, to cook there. So it's long,
Yeah.
nice relationship. So it's
Makes
nice.
sense.
Yeah.
The love.
Yeah.
I'm really thankful we finally got to do this and sit down, and I can't wait to visit. I'll visit you soon enough here, probably next month. And what you've done with the 3 projects, even if it's
Thank
a
you.
family, which it is, they all have this unique and vivid and vibrant personality, and they have changed the discussion. They've changed the narrative. They've introduced us to flavors we never thought we would have ever been able to experience. So you've done that. Now,
Yep.
I know they're the producers, and I thank everybody that's involved. But, dude, come on. This is a great project.
Yeah, I define myself as a bridge.
Yeah.
It's just a bridge.
A liaison, a conduit, all of these things.
Yeah, it's a responsibility to be a bridge.
Yeah.
Just you have to share what the things you learn, and to be very conscious that the information that you get, like the information that you have, is
Yeah.
not yours. It's information that somebody shared with you, and your responsibility is to share that information with many people as you can.
You're perfect.
That's
It's about us, not you, not me. It's about the community.
Yep.
Perfect. I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay in Texas.
Yeah.
I'm sure this has been, like one of these kind of moving things, but it was so great to talk to you last night, and thank you so much for sitting down.
No, I appreciated the space and the time, and it was great talk. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
I'll see you very soon.
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you, Esteban. Well, there we have it, Mr. Esteban Morales Garibi. Of so many different amazing brands. And, one of the things that maybe you've seen some pictures, maybe you haven't, doesn't matter, but we went with a crew of 5 folks, and we filmed a bunch of shit in Mexico, in Oaxaca and Guadalajara, talking about tequila, talking about mezcal. Ideally, we're going to do this as a TV show, but one of the linchpin interviews, one of the moments that was so amazing on this trip is sitting at 400 Rabbits and having this very riveting conversation about mezcal, protectivism, not really being the way that it should be with mezcal, that people need to live and let live, stop being so stubborn and rigid in terms of their thinking about production and culture and things. And there's so many more nuances to mezcal, and Esteban really, really captures these things and talks about them so eloquently. And we've videotaped this interview, so even if it doesn't make it to TV or not, it'll be something that we can share with you guys that listen to the show. It's a beautiful, insightful thing. And I think this conversation is just the first chapter into the man himself talking about his passion for food and for people and going to locate this Raicilla. I mean, this is an amazing story, an archaeologist of sorts. So thank you so much, Esteban, for sitting down with me in Austin. Thanks so much for sitting down with me at your hometown at 400 Rabbits. And thanks everybody for listening to Show to V with Mike G. No matter how much you plan on eating or drinking tomorrow for Thanksgiving, or if you're thinking, I really love my family, but I can only deal with them just a few days out of the year. Now that's not true. I love you, mom and dad, brother, and so forth. Please keep dancing.